In a quiet village, bathed in moonlight, a great baobab tree stood watch, its ancient branches reaching for the stars. Inside a small mud-brick home, a little boy named Keto clutched a wooden lion, his eyes wide in the dim light. Beside him sat his father, Jabari, a strong man whose shoulders were heavy with a silent sorrow. A book lay untouched in his hands. "Baba," Keto whispered, his voice full of hope, "will you tell me a story tonight?" Jabari's hands tightened around the book. His own voice felt lost, buried under layers of grief. "Not tonight, my son," he managed to say. "My voice is tired." Keto nodded, turning his face away to hide his disappointment. Jabari blew out the lantern, and the small room fell into darkness, filled only by the gentle song of crickets outside.
Ow.
Later, unable to rest, Jabari sat beneath the giant baobab. The wind rustled through its leaves, a sound like a soft whisper. He gazed at a small woven bracelet on his wrist, a precious keepsake from his late wife Amani. "How do I raise him without you?" he murmured to the night sky. The great tree seemed to creak in response, as if it were listening. Just then, a small voice called from the house, "Baba." Jabari hurried back inside and knelt by his son's mat. "Why are you awake, little lion?" he asked gently. "Mama used to tell stories when the night felt heavy," Keto said, his voice small. "The stories chased the sadness away. Can you try? Even a small one?" Jabari looked at his son, seeing the same hope that once shone in Amani's eyes. He hesitated for a long moment, then slowly he nodded. Maud began to speak. The mud-brick walls of the room seemed to melt away, replaced by a warm, glowing world of color and light. Once he began, his voice raspy at first. There was a young firefly who lost the moon that guided her. On the walls, a tiny glowing firefly appeared, fluttering all alone in a vast dark sky. She thought she could never shine again, but each night she glowed just enough so others would not feel alone in the dark. Keto's eyes were soft with wonder. "Did the moon come back?" he asked. Jabari swallowed the lump in his throat. "Oh," he said softly. But the firefly learned she carried light inside her all along. A small, peaceful smile spread across Keto's face, and as Jabari saw it, his own voice grew a little steadier, a little stronger. Night after night, the stories continued. Jabari's voice, once tired and lost, now filled their small home with tales of clever tortoises and dancing elephants. He found silly voices that made Keto giggle, and soon, for the first time in a long, long time, Jabari's own laughter joined his son's. The stories became brighter, warmer. The grief was still there, like a quiet shadow, but now it was no longer a lonely one. One evening, as Keto was drifting off to sleep, he whispered, "Baba." "Yes, my heart. When you tell stories, it feels like Mama is sitting with us." Tears filled Jabari's eyes, but this time they weren't just tears of sorrow. He smiled through them. "Then let us keep telling them," he said. "Stories are how love stays." He leaned down and gently kissed his son's forehead. The next morning, as the sun painted the sky in gold and rose, Jabari sat beneath the baobab tree. In his hands was a new, handmade notebook. On its cover, he had carefully written stories for Keto from Mama and Baba. He looked up at the ancient, comforting branches of the tree and whispered, "I'm learning to be strong, just like you taught me." The leaves rustled warmly, as if in reply. That night, as Keto slept soundly, Jabari stepped outside and looked up at the stars. He noticed one star twinkling just a little bit brighter than all the rest, and as he watched it, Jabari smiled, his heart finally feeling a little lighter, a little more at peace. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more tales that heal and inspire.